All right. Hello, everybody. It is Star Trek Tuesday, aka the best time of the week. It is time for the main viewer. We're going to give you all of the news of Star Trek from the week. And I know what you're thinking. There wasn't even that much news. Of course, you're going to be able to cover it all. Well, buckle up, Betsy. It's going to be a bumpy ride. There seems to be a lot going on right now. Look, there's a strike. I don't know if you noticed, everybody, there are actually two strikes going on. The DGA, the directors, avoided one. The writers said nay. The actors said nay. And together they say yay, or something like that, right? And so there's a lot to cover with that. Also, Strange New Worlds has a lot of great news. There's some Picard news as well. Don't forget to save Star Trek Prodigy. There are a lot of things going on and a lot to talk about, even some Discovery and Strange New Worlds connections that you may enjoy. So, all right, you were warned.
Promo sale going on. We don't forget for STLV gear.
Yeah. Great. So everybody can go to the Seventh Rule Teespring store. Just go to teespring.com and type in the Seventh Rule. 30% off gets you, the STLV promo gets you 30% off. So if you type in STLV, you get 30% off. Jenny R. Johnson is here, everybody. Check it out.
Hello.
Finally, she has returned. She's wearing an awesome Star Trek and Chill shirt. In the description box below, you can click on that link and get that shirt or any other. Also, promo code STLV for 30% off. Speaking of 30% off, we were talking about Donald Duckin earlier, and John Orchiola of Screen Rant is here, and he was telling us all about Indiana Jones, how they shot a movie like that.
Well, they shot one scene in a movie, not wearing pants. But Jenny, I want that shirt. In fact, I have that shirt coming in the mail.
Oh,
that's the exact shirt.
That's awesome.
Not
I love this shirt. I love this shirt. And it's got like the big
big
part of the back. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. And it's got the little sleeveys.
I know. I love it. I love it.
Robert Kaiser, who's pointing out my shirt, but also the Enterprise. It is my tribute to the crossover, which is happening next week.
Amazing.
Oh, right. Right. Episode 7. Very cool.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's exciting. So Jenny R. Johnson, John Orchiola are here. Look, Dr. Anne-Marie Siegel is here as well. What's up, Anne-Marie?
Oh my gosh, so much. And I have to say, this is like the first day I started getting really excited. Like STLV is looming. I'm really excited. I'm like,
it feels real.
Yes.
Like it really feels real now.
I started buying stuff for the trip. It's like, it's on.
How about this? When STLV is looming, STLV season is blooming. No, that sucked. Hey, everybody. My name is Ryan T. Husk. What's up? We're going to talk about the news. Let's say hi to everybody in the live chat. Matt Boardman is here. What's up, Matt? Incredible skills he's got behind a computer doing VFX and graphics and web design. Now,
it's an amazing work this weekend for you.
Yeah.
Tirelessly too. Like, I don't know how he was up. He was up till like 4 a.m. just making thumbnails for a panicked Ryan. So shout out to him. Chuck A is also in the live chat. He's gonna be at STLV selling plates and stuff. That is serious. Go check it out. He's got freaking incredible plates. It is legit. Allison Leach Hyde, who contractually you can only say her name as Allison Leach Hyde, also is here. Shag 840. Alex, what's up? Chris Marshall. Hello, DJ Kitty Cat. We see War Dogheim, kind of an MVP over the weekend as well in his own right. Robert Kaiser out in Austria, Autriche. They say it in French. Tiffany, what's up? Hello, we see you. Benjenium with one of the coolest names ever. David Gregory is also here. All right, we see you all in the live chat. And now the news. Is that how we do it? So let's start off. Let's do John Orchiola knows where this comes from. So What do you guys want to talk about? That's a Cody Rhodes quote, sir. Right? Doesn't he say that?
Yeah, he does during his promos. Yeah.
All right.
But it's not like his catchphrase or anything.
I thought he said it every time. Maybe just every time I've seen it. All right.
So I guess we start with the strike. It seems to be the biggest thing going.
Yeah.
The hottest topic.
You are very correct. Or well, what do you
Or
guys
the
think?
biggest umbrella of a topic. So a good place to start.
All right.
Yeah. Well said.
Let's pull that up right now then. Does feel like people have been talking about it quite a bit lately.
Oh yeah.
Gosh.
Okay, so this is from our friends over at trekmovie.com.
So let me preface this, like this is from a couple days ago, but like the things that they
Just
talked
yesterday.
about, wasn't it? Oh my God, every day
I
seems
think it went
like
up, I think it went up on Saturday. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it went up on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they updated it, but like it's pretty.
Oh no, you're right. Yeah.
And not a lot has changed, and we can add in a couple things that have changed. It's just like the best umbrella article.
Right.
That's Star Trek related.
All right. So check this out. It says actor strike set to impact Star Trek production and promotion, including summer conventions. There's a lot of news here, everybody. So be glad that you're here because you're going to get a lot of news. It reads, after extended negotiations failed to come up with a new agreement, the SAG-AFTRA Union of Actors has called a strike against the Hollywood studios for work related to television and film. This is the first general actor strike in decades. The Guild feels their members are facing an existential threat. According to the Guild, the AMPTP, the group representing the studios, including Paramount Global, quote, has refused to acknowledge that enormous shifts in the industry and economy have had a detrimental impact on those who perform labor for the studios. The actors are joining the Hollywood writers who went on strike in May. By the way, that's an end quote. While they have some similar issues, the actors have a unique concern over AI and likeness rights, pay minimums, and the cost of auditions. Interesting. Since the WGA called for a strike in May, the AMPTP has not returned to the negotiating table. And there are reports the studios will not return to the table until the fall, hoping the writers will feel the financial pressure to cut a deal. Picketing for the actors started on Friday as they joined the writers on the picket lines. Star Trek is already being represented, including Picard star Michelle frickin' Hurd, who is also on the SAG negotiating committee. She can be seen below talking to Variety from the picket lines about why the actors are striking. That's very good. So go check that out, everybody. So you guys, reports are that they're not even going to come back to the table until the fall, and they have not even come to the negotiating table since whatever it said May, right? So are we in for the long haul? John, you may know.
I mean, very, very likely. Obviously, no Star Trek production has been happening since the writers went on strike back in May. In fact, I believe Strange New Worlds was supposed to start the same day the strike happened. And so that was scrapped. So everything is now pushed back. If we're looking at no negotiations until the fall, then we're probably not going to see, even assuming they get a deal struck very quickly, we're probably not going to see production on Star Trek until maybe the winter, maybe the late fall, depending on when it happens. So any 2024 release dates that were already planned, excepting Star Trek Discovery, which is already done for season 5, are probably going to be pushed back until late 2024. So we're for Star Trek, we're looking at a long drought after Lower Decks is finished, unless Star Trek Prodigy can find a home quickly.
Yes.
Yeah, and also I don't know if we had covered this or if I knew this, I saw like snuck into a line in one of these articles that Lower Decks has already been renewed for a season beyond what's airing this summer. So like later this
I
summer.
believe that's true. I believe that's true.
Right.
I think season 5 is either being
I
written
didn't know
or
it
is
had been
done.
announced. Yeah.
That was, I think, one of those weird announcements that we got in lieu of First Contact Day.
Yeah, yes,
think.
yeah. It was like grouped together with a couple other things.
John, are you saying that Star Trek Discovery might also be delayed?
I don't think so.
Or is that still going to be on? Because as far as we know, that's going to be early 2024. And unless there's some kind of situation in which the writers are needed in like the editing room or something like that, because that is kind of, a gray area there. But unless they are, then that should still be, that's already in the can. It's already been written. It's already been shot. It's already been acted. But there isn't anything that you're hearing that's suggesting that's going to be delayed, right?
The only issue might be if this thing goes into 2024, if the strike continues until 2024, they wouldn't have talent to promote season 5. So that might delay it. But it's hard to say. This is all really just it's guesswork right now. It's very, very hard to predict. What we do know is, or what we suspect, not know, is that Star Trek Discovery will be part of the Hall H presentation at Comic-Con on Saturday.
And they're probably actually as part of it.
It has been announced. So so they're probably going to show the season 5 trailer or something significant, I would hope.
Ryan, I think I emailed you the tweet that Paramount actually put out like 2 hours ago or 3 hours ago that says what Hall H will be.
Yeah, but I can actually tell you that as well.
Yeah.
They're going to screen. Well, okay, so Paramount booked 90 minutes in Hall H on Saturday from 1:30 p.m. Pacific time till 3. The original plan was to have to do presentation for Star Trek Discovery, Lower Decks, and Strange New Worlds. And the original plan was to have the actors and all the creatives come in there and help present the panel. Obviously, with the actors' strike, those actors and writers aren't going to be there. So to fill that 90 minutes, instead of canceling the panel, Paramount is going to show episode 7 of Strange New World season 2, which is the Lower Decks crossover, Those Old Scientists. And then I guess the remaining time will be spent actually showing whatever new footage and whatever new things they have to announce.
Gotcha.
Boy, that took me longer than it should have to find that tweet. But here it is. It is from Star Trek on Paramount Plus. It says, Star Trek beams into San Diego Comic-Con this week. Visit the Paramount Plus Lodge, explore the Enterprise at booth 3529, and don't miss the Hall H panel Saturday at 1:30 p.m. Pacific time with hashtag Star Trek Discovery, Star Trek Lower Decks, and an advanced screening of the Star Trek Strange New Worlds crossover. Surprise!
Interestingly, like they're wrapping for that big building that they always wrap at San Diego Comic-Con. They've moved Dahl, which is really hard to see, and they replaced him with Michelle Yeoh.
Which is interesting.
I think
so
that
they might announce something about Section 31.
Well, I would just lean into having her if she because she just won the Oscar.
You think what, John?
Oh, they might announce something about Section 31, at least some sort of status of how that film is gonna happen.
Are they? I guess they're allowed to, right? Who is they? Producers?
Paramount. Whoever's gonna present at this panel.
It's really not gonna be writers. It's not gonna be writers or actors,
Akiva Goldsman and Alex Kurtzman just sent an ice cream truck to the picket line 2 days ago.
That was so sweet. I saw that was amazing.
Yes, it was literally
that kind of stuff. And there are people wondering also if they can really make any announcements, because who's going to make the announcing? Even like Alex Kurtzman and Akiva Goldsman, they are technically writers, right? You see them have credits on these, so they can't make these announcements, I wouldn't think. It seems as though Lower Decks and Prodigy, those are perfectly
maybe
open.
One of the directors,
or somebody from Paramount. Somebody from Paramount itself will just make the announcement.
That would be funny. There's just a dude that walks out and he goes like, "Hey,
Yeah.
The name's Drew. I'm the I'm the building C accountant. So
It'll be interesting. That's what I'm most curious about. Got a piece of paper here
ready.
Yeah.
All right. So there's more to this, of course. This is very complicated, I think, because of the expanding entertainment industry with streaming, with social media, with just so many things, with Comic-Con blowing up. The last time we had an actor strike, there weren't these kinds of complications or expansions in the entertainment industry. So the article continues. No live action Star Trek production anytime soon. The most obvious impact of the double strike will be on the live action production of Star Trek. Currently, there are 3 different upcoming Star Trek live action projects yet to go into production. Third season of Strange New Worlds, the Section 31 streaming movie, and the first season of the new Starfleet Academy series. Oh, we forgot about that. Before the strikes, Strange New Worlds Season 3 was set to go into production this summer. The Section 31 movie was scheduled for the fall, and the Academy show was going to start filming in early 2024. Writing for all of these projects ceased in May, and production for Strange New Worlds Season 3 was already confirmed to be delayed by the WGA strike. With the actors now striking as well, that eliminates even the possibility of any production based on available scripts, something that other film and television projects have been doing in the last couple of months. The SAGs, yes.
You do casting, if you're gonna supposedly start filming early 2024, do you think they already have some cast in mind for the Academy show?
Yeah, maybe, but they can't announce it.
Yeah.
And the actors can't talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if it was already written, then it may have just been scheduled for early 2024 because that's when the studio is available, for example, or that's when certain actors are available. So if it was already written, and maybe they could have started production in the fall, but they had to wait until early, 2024, then this strike won't slow it down at all. But usually the nature of the beast is that they're usually still writing something at this point. I have no knowledge on this, but I feel like, I don't know, John, do you know anything about the writing aspect of the Starfleet Academy series? I would think that, they're not going to be done writing it and then wait usually 8 months before going into pre-production, or 10 months. I
actually have heard very little about the Starfleet Academy series and what the status of that production is in. I know a couple of people who are on the writing staff, not personally, but I know Connie Newsom is on that staff as a writer. Awesome. And also actually somebody I do know, Jason Inman, who is also a writing assistant for CBS. He's also on that show. But I don't know where those scripts, how far along those scripts are, how much has been completed. I don't know where they are in the casting process. That's been kept really under wraps.
So it sounds very likely that this is going to be delayed.
A Star Trek Day announcement, and so we probably aren't getting it for a while.
It's hard to imagine Star Trek Day will happen at this point.
Yeah.
Single tear.
I know. Do you think that if I tattoo a tear right here, people will know that it's because of my missing of Star Trek Day, and they'll think that that's nice?
Make it a little delta.
Yes, that's brilliant.
A temporary tattoo.
Yeah.
All right.
So just think you went to Starfleet prison.
Went to the brig.
You roomed with Tom Paris.
A little bit more here. Writing for all these projects ceased in May. Did we already do that? Ceased in May, and the production for Strange New World Season 3 was already confirmed to be delayed by the WGA strike. With the actors now striking as well, that eliminates even the possibility of any production based on available scripts.
That was something interesting that actually Larry's The Trek Files reminded me of this morning, which had Sir Lachlan on it. But they were talking about how when they started season 2 of TMV and filming it, they were 3 months late because of the writer's strike, but they actually still could proceed with filming it.
That was a great panel.
they used old scripts from phase 2 and like they just did it without the writers being on set or
Right.
doing rewrites. But like obviously if the writers are on strike also, that can't happen whatsoever.
Okay, so it continues. Everybody go check that out. That is Trek Files with Larry Nemechek.
The Trek Files. Anywhere podcasts are available.
The 5th and final season of Discovery has already finished production, including the additional footage shot in the spring to turn the season finale into a series finale. Paramount had already set early 2024 for the release, and they can probably still meet that date. That's the answer to our question there. However, the SAG strike disallows actors from doing ADR. Interesting. So any dialogue that needs fixing can't be done. As the SAG strike was a known risk, the producers may have already gotten as much ADR done as possible. Paramount Plus could also move the release of the final season of Discovery to later in 2024, as this may be the only live action Star Trek content for the year. Yeah, they may just want to do that just because there's no more Prodigy. There's not going to be there probably was no chance anyway of Starfleet Academy or Section 31 happening in 2024. And now there's going to be no Strange New Worlds. But that's a really good point about ADR, right? Throughout the editing process, for anybody that doesn't know, they'll look over certain things and sometimes they'll say, you know what, this guy's lines weren't really good, or they weren't very clear. Or sometimes they shoot something knowing that they're going to have to go in later and add the voice. Like if they're shooting outside, those are notorious. There are trains going by, airplanes, there's wind. So anytime something's shot outside, there's a very good chance they're going to be coming back into the studio later on during the edit, and they're going to do ADR, where they're just going to be doing voiceover to their own lips, basically. And yeah, that's a very high likelihood that unless they did that way early in the editing process and the post-production process, they could be delayed from that. I don't think so, because they were done shooting a long time ago.
Exactly. So like the only thing this really has to deal with, I think, is like that little bit of finale that they added, which they did like a while ago.
Yeah.
They probably had this in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. The article also said that, the strike was a known risk, so it's possible that they took care of it ahead of time, well aware that this could happen.
And with their cast like all over the place, and Anthony Rapp was doing like a Broadway show anyway.
Oh, speaking of Anthony Rapp,
I'm obsessed with his little baby.
So
look at this.
So cute.
It also shows a tweet from Anthony Rapp. That's at Albino Kid. He says, raising a labor activist. And this little cutie has the biggest freaking smile listening to Baby Shark on loop.
It's baby noise canceling headphones.
Yeah.
Baby Shark on loop.
Let's see what's going on here. So everybody in the live chat, what do you think so far? Like, I kind of can't help. Jenny, correct me if I'm wrong. Is this kind of boring?
You mean like the show so far?
I just mean like this stuff is so complicated that it's actually kind of like, no wonder people are freaking out about it. Like, this is, I'm glossing over and I'm the one reading it. Like, this is like practically legalese to me.
People want to know what's happening, but they also want to know how it affects them.
They want the cliff notes, yeah.
So here's like some cliff note from like what we covered so far.
Yeah.
So one thing that sort of affects is just like the programming for the next year. So one really interesting like nuance of this is that like there's still TV networks, and Paramount obviously is also CBS on TV. So they released their fall schedule, which has less reality TV. I mean, there's still a lot, but less so than other networks. And one really interesting thing about CBS is they're pulling actual shows that are from Paramount Plus streaming only over to their fall schedule. So they did that. Like Yellowstone is like going to be their Sunday night like tentpole thing for the week. They also like are substituting Ghost, which is, everybody knows, is one of my favorite shows, with British Ghosts, which is what American Ghost is based on. So they got it from BBC.
Really?
They're going to air that. Yeah, which is crazy, which I've never seen. It's going to be crazy having a British show on CBS. Like that's sort of unheard of, I think. But there's one slot that's still open, and they like, I've seen people like speculating what will go in that, and some people are saying like, I don't know all the shows that are made for streaming, like this and CISs and stuff, or like Evil's an option, but I would love to see like a Star Trek show go there to like get more people into the franchise.
That would be the smart thing to do. Yeah.
But I think Discovery or Strange New Worlds would look so good in that spot. It's
oh my God, yeah. What I want to know is, so they're going to take a streaming show and put it on network. How did the residuals work then?
I was asking my friend that, who's a consultant for Evil in the he does WGA. He's a consultant. He said he consultants for streaming shows or whatever. He doesn't get residuals in that situation, but it would be really good for the show, and other people I'm sure on staff would. So like, yes, I was wondering the same exact thing, and like my guess is because network, you have to see like the numbers on like streaming, you probably would get more residuals, but it's just interesting to see that Paramount's going in that direction when it doesn't seem like the other networks are. But that's the only other thing I have to add about the upcoming streaming schedule year.
It is really interesting watching them pivot, watching
super
like
fascinating. This. I cannot even believe they got a British show to.
That's crazy.
That's so crazy.
I'm just imagining like this room full of suits trying to figure it out, and it's just.
I mean, it's nice to know they're moving things over. So like,
absolutely,
not all reality. Like,
I think. I mean, I'm hoping what comes out of that is that there's actually, some. These shows that they do move over grow, and they're like, oh, maybe we should actually take care of our shows and show them to people and not cancel them after a year.
People get into these shows, and then after the strike's over or whatever, then they subscribe to Paramount, and then more people would be watching Star Trek.
Exactly.
Yeah, there was another show, what was it, ABC, I think, and they released their fall programming a month or two ago, and it was all reality shows and game shows. And that's it. So, they've already got their plan, and it looks like they're in for the long haul. Like Anne-Marie, you found the CBS 2023 fall programming.
I found like some trade newsletters too, and they were already even before the strike, they had their eyes on CBS and Paramount. They were like one of the last ones to release, and people were speculating they wouldn't have as much reality TV. So it is like a very interesting network case study in and of itself without the strike, but there's just this big glaring Monday night 10 p.m. spot.
Yeah,
I would love to see Star Trek there.
Absolutely,
that's true. You've got shows like Big Brother again, The Price is Right. We've got Big Brother again. We got The Challenge, The Amazing Race. But then they have a few things. FBI True, I guess. They probably still have writers for that though. Yellowstone, I'm sure there's writers.
Some of those shows run for example, much like their American Ghost, they still run 22 weeks a year. So I mean,
and those ones say encores.
Yeah, I don't know.
So just reruns.
Yeah, they're all reruns.
Yeah,
Yellowstone is all reruns.
Yeah,
but it's
just never on network before.
Yes,
right.
So they're moving a few things from their streaming to network.
Like a re-premiering, if you will.
Yeah.
If you run out of programming, you just go like, hey, it's new to you.
Yeah.
Old timer still watching TV, television.
The thing is though, for Yellowstone to be on CBS network, it'll have to be highly censored. I mean, there are F-bombs, there's nudity, there's violence, like blood, like it is a gory show. It's not a network show. It's never designed to be. So
I'm listening.
It'll be so interesting.
Ryan, let's do a Yellowstone streaming party.
I've never seen Yellowstone.
I love Yellowstone. I love it.
I know it's highly, highly acclaimed, and I like the park.
Well, it's next to the park. It's next to the park. In the show, the ranch is next to the park.
Amazing.
And they had a movie based off it, didn't they? 19 something.
No,
The
no.
miniseries?
No, Yellowstone has two prequels: 1883, which is like 8 episodes or 10 episodes, and then 1923, which a couple of my friends are on. The stars on.
Oh wow!
Yeah, my friends Michelle Randolph and Darren Mann. They are two of the lead characters.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay, so here's something. Still on this article. Everybody, after the show, you could go check out all these articles, Screen Rant, of course, Trek Movie, Trek Core, whomever you want to go check out. Some of them get it wrong in the first few days. So now, a few days later, there are going to be some corrections and some changes. And a few days from now, there are going to be some more additions and addendums and adjustments. But more information just keeps coming out. Plus, I just think that there just wasn't all of the information out. So as soon as the strike happened, everybody had questions, and there were way more questions than answers, even though SAG and AFTRA gave a very thorough explanation of the strike. Even still, there were like 10 times as many questions as answers. But, obviously they did their best to cover everything ahead of time. And I'm sure they are scrambling to continue to pump out more information to everybody, as is the press. But speaking of press, this part of the article is a little depressing.
All of the articles depressing.
Yeah.
It says, extended strike could have Paramount rethinking Star Trek plans. That scares me more than delaying. It reads, the extended double strike could also result in changes to Paramount's plans for the franchise. It may not be as simple as starting the clock again on planned productions due to the availability of the writers and actors. Michelle Yeoh has been in especially high demand after her Oscar-winning performance in Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. So they will have to work around her schedule for the Section 31 movie. Paramount may also take this time to rethink its Star Trek plans in general, although this won't include developing any new projects, as even discussing anything new with writers is disallowed by WGA strike rules. This would include the Star Trek Legacy spinoff from Picard that many fans have been calling for. This is the scary one. The company could also scale back plans for the franchise, especially as the company faces pressure to cut costs from Wall Street. Wall Street, they're even getting into this. What's going on here?
Well, actually, Wall Street is kind of when you listen to Larry delve into the history and sort of the past few years, it's because Wall Street dictates things by percentage growth. So even even though all these things are making billions and billions of dollars, they need to see the bottom line has to be a percentage every single year. Yeah. So once you start getting into those billions and millions territories, they're not looking at the gross numbers, and then you sort of come to a head.
Yeah.
Anne-Marie, numbers are not gross. Come on. They're very cool.
Yeah, it's everything that's happened has come out of that Wall Street sort of takeover of all of of entertainment,
and the transfer of business from just California to Wall Street also.
Exactly.
Hey, Chuck A in the live chat suggests, and hopefully CBS is watching. We know a lot of the executives from CBS are watching. Hey, everybody, Good to see you. I still haven't gotten my invite for lunch.
Don't forget to
don't forget to like and subscribe, CBS Viacom. Chuck A says, the main viewer on network TV. Well, that would be something.
Yeah.
Or at least streaming. But just to finish this little item here, because I'm not sure how I feel about this there's a little bit of shade that I wanted to point out. Here it is. The article continues. Just yesterday, Disney, a much healthier company, reacted to the same pressure by announcing a pullback on Marvel and Star Wars content. Discovery actor Anthony Rapp had some thoughts on Hollywood CEOs, which he shared with Variety from the picket lines on Friday. John, is Disney a healthier company?
Well, I don't know. that was pretty interesting. Well, I mean, for Marvel and Star Wars, they're looking at a whole different paradigm for what expectations are coming off the Marvel Cinematic Universe, what those movies were able to achieve, the billions those movies earned, and same with Star Wars to a different extent because of how Star Wars has been managed compared to Marvel. But I think it was Bob Iger, the president of Disney, who gave that interview a few days ago, who talked about reducing content, basically because and I don't know how the earnings are in terms of these shows, but the overall audience reaction to Star Wars TV shows and Disney and Marvel TV shows has just not been as strong or enthusiastic as, let's say, they were for the films, especially the Marvel films, leading up to Avengers Endgame, and also the films that have come out afterwards. And and Star Wars has its own thing where, like, the Andor was critically acclaimed, but I don't think did as well in streaming numbers as, let's say, Obi-Wan did. But Obi-Wan was not well received, not critically acclaimed. So it's more a matter of audience perception of how both those giant IPs have been handled. And I guess the solution Disney's looking at is we just need less of it because we've oversaturated the market. So, like, is Star Trek also being looked at as, hey, those 5 shows were maybe too much. Maybe we need only 3. Maybe we only need 2. I don't know.
Lastly, we got to get through this a little more quickly, but there's
we have
just
like a bunch of other things.
I know there's just so freaking much. I didn't realize. Just real quick, it says, bottom line, there will be less Star Trek television content in 2024 than originally planned. A scarcity which could possibly extend into early 2025. As for feature films, the Star Trek 4 project remains in development hell with bigger problems than the strikes. But this only ensures we won't see the franchise back on the big screen for at least a couple more years and probably longer. Oh, Star Trek 4, you're the gift that keeps on giving.
Hearing about Star Trek 4 every day of forever.
Now, just to quickly fast forward, because some people are going to be wondering also about conventions. We have San Diego Comic-Con happening practically right now. We have a little thing called Star Trek Las Vegas happening practically exactly in 2 weeks. And by practically, I mean, it is.
I just had like one other quick thing to do for San Diego Comic-Con that pop culture, there are a ton of Star Trek like ancillary panels that are like the writers talking about mental health and like writing Picard, which looks like a really good one. And our friends at Inglorious Treksperts, they have multiple, like 1992, The Greatest Geek Year, which is this mini series with like William Shatner and the Akutas, I think, get interviewed, and that's airing on CW right now. So they have like 3 panels, I think, going on. But I sent you a link to the one that Pop Culture Hero Coalition is doing at San Diego Comic-Con with Chase Masterson. And she actually has the Benson sisters, who are 2 of our favorite people.
Oh, yay.
I love that.
It looks amazing. And they're talking about like women and mental health and writing and in like the pop culture and hero universe. So it looks amazing. We just like, it's up on Pop Culture Hero Coalition on social media. But if you
or
happen
popherocoalition.org. As well.
Or Superhero IRL is the Twitter handle. And that's on Thursday, July 20th, 11 to 12. And the panel looks amazing.
And Chase Masterson is a true hero. She's a true gem. She's a true, genuine spirit. Cannot say enough good things about her. However wonderful and angelic you think she might be, anybody at home, she's even more. She's amazing. So definitely support anything she does, because you can be confident in knowing that what she's doing comes from the heart. She's not trying to profit. She's trying to make the world a better place. And she's actually freaking succeeding. So that's pretty awesome. Really happy for her.
So the panel's like all women who work in the industry, writers, like mental health consultants and things like that for different shows. And they talk about like how women are empowered in comic books and the pop culture through violence and other things. So it'll be really interesting. And that also, I just had a note to remind us to mention there's the Kenneth Mitchell picture at STLV that Chase is going to be organizing, and you have to get the Kenneth Mitchell t-shirt from either the website or the convention.
So everybody, if you are going to buy the Kenneth Mitchell version of the Be Kind shirt from Chase Masterson's website, specifically the Ken Mitchell version, either get it on the website or get it at Star Trek Las Vegas at her table, but supplies will be limited. Or if you already have it and you want to be a part of this picture, just email the Seventh Rule Podcast at gmail.com. And in the heading, just say Kenneth Mitchell. And then when Chase has a time and a place for this group picture to send to Ken Mitchell, she will let us know, and we'll shoot out a little email blast, and you can all meet us there, and we'll take another group picture because there's a lot of those in Vegas, but this is the important one. Speaking of Vegas.
And the shirts are super cute.
They are super cute. That's especially the reason to get it. However, John's like, are we going to talk about Vegas or what? Yep. Just to close this out very quickly, the Trek movie article says promotion ban impacting San Diego Comic-Con, Star Trek Las Vegas, and more. Another big impact will be felt at conventions, especially San Diego Comic-Con, which kicks off next week. Paramount has planned a Star Trek Universe panel for next Saturday, and even though some other studio panels were canceled on Friday, the Star Trek panel is still on the official schedule. It appears Paramount will still go ahead, but there obviously won't be any WGA writers or SAG actors appearing. The schedule calls for the panel to focus on Strange New Worlds, Lower Decks, and Discovery. Even without any of the cast or writers, the studio executives, producers, and directors, not in SAG or WGA, could attend, and the studio can certainly release new trailers and key art. Of course, Star Trek actors from both the new shows as well as legacy shows are lined up to attend fan conventions all summer long, with the biggest one being the 57-year Mission Convention in Las Vegas, set for the first weekend of August. Photo ops and autographs are still allowed under SAG rules, as they are considered personal appearances. However, panel appearances will likely be impacted by the strike. It is clear that actors for upcoming projects cannot promote them on a panel. However, that doesn't preclude attending the convention and even potentially appearing on a panel, as long as certain topics are avoided. So far, there have been no announced cancellations for the Las Vegas convention until just very recently, but the situation is still in flux, as noted by Anson Mount in this tweet from Friday. So,
and also in terms of the cancellations, like every single year of STLV ever, people start canceling just because like their schedule changes. So you don't even know like if cancellations that start happening are related to this.
Basically, in a nutshell, the actors and the writers and whomever else can still go to Star Trek Las Vegas or any convention, but they cannot talk about struck work. If they are in the SAG union, anybody that's in SAG-AFTRA cannot talk about any production within the AMPTP. That's about as simple as you can make it. That's the bottom line. It sounds like a big giant mess, but I think that's pretty much the short and skinny of it. If you're in this union, you can't talk about productions in this group, which is basically all the Hollywood studios. Also, just as an addendum to that, Aaron J. Waltke yesterday posted out a tweet, or tweeted out a tweet, that blew up the internet because everybody was waiting to hear exactly. Everybody was kind of buzzing around. There's all these rumors. And so this was quite a viral tweet by him. He's a writer, producer, head writer of Star Trek Prodigy. He says, to be clear, struck work is doing work that would otherwise be a paid union gig. If it is not covered by the union, or if it is work you were doing for free as a fan, it is not scabbing. Fans talking about a show is not scabbing. Journalists reviewing shows is not scabbing. So that answers a lot of questions. Look at this, 437 retweets in a little more than 24 hours. I wonder if his phone, I hope he doesn't have notifications turned on his phone. The other tweet that was important. This
also
was
like of note, sort of like going along with what he said. Like Michelle Hurd worked with the union to get like STLV has some like even more clear rules, and you can like see that on Larry Nemechek's social media. That's been shared around, and it's also in the Star Trek Convention Experiences Facebook group that's run by Jesse, Marina, Heather, and Ron. And just like outlining, because it's an unofficial convention. So kind of going along with like San Diego Comic-Con, they would be paid to represent the studio there. So like it's a little different.
So this tweet, Jerry Ryan quote tweets ALJ Dread, who everybody knows is an expert on SAG stuff. I don't know who that is. They say, now that SAG-AFTRA is on strike along with the WGA, it's a good time for a reminder to not initiate a consumer boycott unless a union specifically asks for it. Neither union is currently asking for consumers to engage in a boycott. So this is for everybody that is not in any union that's saying, how can I help? Those that don't want to help, hey, whatever. Those that do want to help, you want to know how you can. And a lot of people have theories on how they can help. According to these people, and this is, I believe, verifiable that none of the unions have asked for a boycott. You, the consumer, have not been asked by any of the guilds or unions to boycott. If you want to boycott, hey, you do your thing. But so far, neither the WGA nor SAG-AFTRA has asked anybody for boycotting as a form of support. So go check that out. Go follow Jerry Ryan, and you can read the entire thread.
Well, I think another really good source is like the SAG-AFTRA website. They have like how you can just support the union, and they tell you like firsthand. So there's not like this crazy amount of misinformation.
Yeah.
And they have like an FAQ section that's really amazing.
Whew. I feel like we need a break. How's everybody doing in the live chat? What do you guys think?
It's a lot.
It's just so much information that we never knew we had to know. Let's see how you guys
so much in the last few days.
I know.
It's crazy.
Including tree law. I did not know about trees on sidewalks in LA. Suddenly I'm an expert in that too.
Exactly.
Do you remember this? Here's the thing is, let's go all the way back to March and summer of 2020. Coronavirus hit. Exactly. Suddenly, everybody was a virologist. I don't know if you knew that.
Suddenly everyone has an MD.
Yeah, everybody and their grandma was a virologist all of a sudden. And then a year later, what was it? I don't even remember. There was another thing, and everybody was suddenly.
There were literally times where people were like screaming things on the internet, and I'd be like, that doesn't sound right. And then I'd be like, wait a minute, I'm an actual doctor. Like, why am I listening? Why am I even reading this nonsense? Like,
and then when Russia invades Ukraine, suddenly everybody's a geopolitical expert. WGA goes on strike. Suddenly everybody's you guys gotta just, I know we're all trying to help so badly. We all really want to help. Everybody's always trying, but that's to your point, you know, the misinformation thing comes from a good place always. Everybody's trying. We're all in the same boat where we're just in a panic trying to figure out how to help things and how to figure things out. Thank goodness.
Doesn't help is like cutting down other fans, like when they're planning things. Like I saw that a lot in the Facebook group, and just people excited to cosplay and like getting told like they were scabbing. It's like cosplaying for fun is not scabbing.
Yeah.
I hope that Aaron Waltke tweet made things clear.
Yeah.
Aaron Waltke has entered the live chat. He's here.
Oh my! I 3 times.
He's cosplaying right now too. You scab, don't cosplay, man. But welcome, Aaron Waltke. Good to see you. He says, "Has the battle happened yet? Am I allowed to arrive yet?" Oh, very good. That is the French quote. "Tu arrives après la bataille." Aaron, I think you know that, especially for the last few days, that battle is in a frenzy right now. Everything's happening all at once. But thank goodness we have people like Aaron Waltke that can sift through things. And I don't want to say dumb it down, but simplify things so that people can understand it. Like myself, like anybody else, sometimes we read all these words, we understand what the words mean, but we don't 100% know how they apply to the situation. And people like Aaron and others can kind of sift through the mud and funnel it into a nice little nugget for us to consume. People like Aaron Walke, people like John Orchiola as well, by the way, who has been great throughout this whole process, including when we're asking you questions directly and you didn't know we were going to ask you questions. Yeah. But also in writing this article here that I wanted to pull up, check this out, everybody. This is...
I had one other Aaron Walke thing from Twitter, which is just reminding us that TAG is a different union, and it hasn't expired. Their like whatever contracts and things haven't expired, so you can cosplay and get pictures as like Doll or any Prodigy. I'm assuming any Prodigy characters. I don't know, like the intricacies.
That's a very important point. That's a very important point. And if we have Aaron in the live chat,
actually talk about it.
Not to put you on the hot seat, Aaron. Feel free to agree or disagree or keep quiet if you cannot say anything. But as we understand it, John, correct me if I'm wrong, TAG, this is the Animated Guild. Okay, so they are not on strike. They can talk about Prodigy. They can talk about Lower Decks. They can talk about Scooby-Doo or anything that they'd like because their union is not on strike. Now, probably as we discussed a little earlier, if somebody's part of the TAG union, but they're also part of SAG, then they're probably beholden to the SAG strike rules. But Aaron Walke, you and other writers and other actors that are just strictly in TAG, you guys can talk about your show as much as you want. You can talk about any show. You're not on strike. There may be a little bit more nuance to it, but as we understand it, everybody, the bottom line is Prodigy and Lower Decks and the animated series, probably, actually, I don't even know if they're tagged, but those are free reign. Those are good to go. Have your fun with it.
I think the nuance would be that Aaron, for instance, can't talk about Prodigy season 2, i.e. the contents of it or what could happen, nor can he really discuss what's going on in terms of finding a new home. But yes, other than that,
and you probably can't talk about Strange New World episode 7 because that has some Lower Decks characters going into it. So that's an animated thing that is a nuanced kind of situation, probably too.
Actually quite complicated, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like that Venn diagram again.
I'm just going to mention too, there's some chatting in the live chat. Like all of these things are different. And like when you look at the SAG website and the union rules for different things and podcasting, they're all different and they're all being like covered and guided on by people who are experts. So like that's all being taken care of and we don't really need to talk about it in the live chat. I think it's just like leave that up to the professionals for those various areas.
Thank goodness a lot of professionals are starting to step up and clear the air as well, because I think everybody's just kind of in a holding pattern saying, somebody lead me, somebody tell me what to do.
And the people who are part of the some of these hit podcasts, like they're professionals in their own crafts and they know who to talk to, and the union has several representatives, so that's all being addressed and you don't have to worry about it in a live chat. And I think that's all we have to say right now.
Oh, good. I need to see what's going on in the live chat. That sounds fun. But before we do that, John, so sorry we were interrupted, but that's very good. And very important. Lower Decks, Prodigy, those are good to go. Everybody have your fun. And remember, as we said earlier, hashtag save Star Trek Prodigy. So this is from screenrant.com, written by our good friend, Mr. John Orchiola, who's like, I didn't know I was your good friend. Calm down. He says,
we're good friends, Ryan.
I agree. I was waiting for you to say, oh, everybody, John Orchiola will be at Star Trek Las Vegas. Is this your first time?
It is my first time, and it's going to be very, very interesting because thanks to this strike, I can't do about 90% of my job. So
You're going to be chill. It's a vacation. And Jenny R. Johnson is going to be enjoying her very first time as well. This is so fun.
Oh, but Aaron Walke, since you're in the live chat, we can chat about wait a minute. What am I doing? We're in a podcast. But yes.
Hey,
Aaron,
John, you do you. Anne Marie and I have talked enough. You can talk with Aaron Walke in the live chat right now if you want.
Let's get together and chat about Prodigy on the down low.
Yeah. Over lunch. Over lunch. Bacon and egg. You post the most delicious looking breakfast pictures on Facebook, by the way.
Actually, Aaron and I were talking about breakfast a couple of weekends ago on Twitter.
Yum. Surprising. All right. So here's the article. We keep teasing it. It's entitled Gia Sandhu on the tragic Star Trek romance in Strange New Worlds Season 2. I've gone on record saying that I think that she's a phenomenal actress. Very pleased with her acting. I did not know who she was a couple years ago before this show, but I think she's amazing. When an accident turns Spock fully human, he goes to extremes to fool T'Pring and her parents during their engagement dinner. However, the Vulcan comedy has a tragic ending for T'Pring.
Episode, we all saw it.
Yeah, so how about John Orchiola? Give us the cliff notes. What are we talking about here?
All right, well, okay, so let me preface by saying that this interview took place before the SAG-AFTRA strike. We actually did this interview, I think, the day before the strike was called. So we're in the clear on that. So there's no scabbing involved in this. We got this press done before the strike happened. Gia Sandhu is awesome. She is delightful to talk to. I think the highlights of the interview were I asked her why T'Pring loves Spock, and she gave a very, very detailed, thoughtful answer about how T'Pring sees a lot of herself in Spock, and T'Pring actually is a rebel in the way she is in her family. And to her, Spock, I can't believe I even remember all this stuff.
That's awesome.
Off the top of my head. But that Spock is basically living her dream life because Spock gets to go off and be in Starfleet and explore the galaxy and do all these things and be true to himself in ways that T'Pring can't because she's more bound by Vulcan custom. So it's a really, really interesting
That's awesome.
answer to get. Yeah.
Oh.
And I don't remember what I got to pull up this interview. I don't remember what else we talked about, but she was very, very thoughtful, and she had a lot of really great answers. And obviously she loves the show. She loves playing T'Pring. She loved being able to expand on T'Pring's family, which we'd never seen before. To have those layers added to that character. I don't know if I asked her any joke questions like I sometimes do, but
that's really cool. Just having seen Ethan Peck talking about his sort of deep dive into Spock and his, sort of inner life, and that's a nice little bookend on the two of them.
Yeah,
that's really, really cool.
And I asked her I
liked your thing about Cybok.
Yeah, I did ask about Cybok, which you couldn't really talk about, but that's that's fine. But and then I asked her what would happen if T'Pring and Chapel actually sat down and talked, because they've never had a scene together.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and she was like, and her answer was girl, what is going on? So, and I visualized Spock sitting in the corner watching this conversation, sweating bullets. But yeah, it's a really great talk. It's certainly, please check out the interview because you'll learn a lot about T'Pring.
Just a quick pause on that. Aaron Walke gives us another piece of information. I'm not sure if we mentioned it or if we fully knew this, but just to be clear, he says Prodigy is not a struck production with SAG-AFTRA because it is a separate contract. We know this. However, a little added piece of information, he says, so SAG-AFTRA members are encouraged to continue working under that contract. Remember, it's not, so basically to also add another piece of simplicity, SAG-AFTRA is not asking SAG-AFTRA members to not work or to stop working. They're not asking SAG-AFTRA actors to stop working. They're telling them to stop working for or with those AMPTP companies. They can still go do Prodigy. They can still go mow lawns or work in restaurants or do whatever they want to do, whatever their job is. They just cannot work with those AMPTP studio productions. So right now, Prodigy's probably like, come one, come all. We'll take you all in right now, and Lower Decks too.
But I think the voice cast, though, I think the majority of the voice cast are SAG, like Kate Mulgrew and Ella Purnell and Brett Gray. So they would be restricted.
But are they restricted because that's a different contract?
Right. I think what Aaron was saying is that even if they are in SAG, they can work in this other under this other union, the tag union. So they can still work in any production other than the AMPTP.
Yeah. I just feel like I trust that they know what they're doing, maneuvering their career, and they'll just tell us what they want to talk about. And I don't want to I feel like at a certain point, I'm like, when I'm starting to try and understand the legalese of this, I'm like, you know what? They don't need me butting in. And at the convention, they'll make it very clear what we can be asking them and what fans can ask at the panels and things like that.
And that's definitely
a very good point.
The moderators.
And I don't want to seem like I'm coming after people trying to narc. They're professionals. They've looked into it.
Yeah, that's a good point about what they're going to be talking about at the conventions. First of all, they're still ironing out the last nuances of, you can say blue, but you can't say dark blue or whatever it is, right? But the one group that is happy about this, I gotta think that most of the legacy Star Trek actors are ecstatic about this. They're like, finally, I won't get the same freaking question about in season 5, episode 11. I have a 9-part question, and it starts thusly. They're like, I can talk about my cooking. I can talk about my puppy that I love. I just got a grandson. You know what I mean? They're going to be so happy to just talk about anything else.
I think Ian Spelling was saying too, when he was doing the pre-con on Sunday with the interview with Ryan and Sirach, he was saying that sometimes you also don't want to get too personal and invasive. So what he'll do before his panels is also run things by the people he's going to moderate to make sure they're
very important this year.
And especially this year.
Yeah.
So everybody involved really cares about the community and the actors and the fans. And I think it's just nice to see how accommodating everybody is. And
I saw Larry Nemechek saying that he's like, I think I'm excited about going to watch panels for the first time.
I know. New stories.
Yes.
But then poor people like Jenny and John are like, we've never gotten to see these stories.
You know what though? Honestly, I'm so excited to see the Next Generation cast in any capacity. And I feel like I know them so well in the roles that the idea of them just having conversations about other stuff, like Gates McFadden's podcast is very little about Star Trek, and it is so good. Those conversations are wonderful. So the idea of those kind of conversations happening on stage, whether or not that TNG reunion panel on Friday, whether or not that happens, I would be very happy to just watch the 7 or 8 of them just sit there and talk to each. Yes, literally, yes. Because
hysterical.
Yeah.
Jenny, somebody on Twitter definitely agrees with you. And that person is at Jenny R. Johnson, who says, this is encouraging news. If it means hearing some of my favorite humans talk about their lives instead of their work, I am 100% okay with that. And then there's an emoji surrounded by hearts or maybe big zits.
That's my favorite emoji. Second only to,
All right. So we also very quickly, there's also a nice little article. Anne-Marie kind of touched on it a bit. You've been a fountain of information, Anne-Marie. My goodness, you've done more research today than usual. because there's too much out there
what?
right now.
This we already covered, and I already said it all in the other ones. We can cancel this one, but I think we should really do that really fun Jerry O'Connell article from the Mike McMahon tweet.
So this is the Hollywood Reporter, but yeah, you already covered it. So everybody go check that out, thehollywoodreporter.com. It covers the Yellowstone information in greater detail, the UK ghost thing that actually confused me. I heard it twice and I still don't really understand what's going on with that.
Like the American one's based on the UK.
There are two versions of the show.
It's like The Office. Yeah.
What were you saying, Anne-Marie? Because that was something I really wanted to jump on.
Out of all this chaos, this made my day / maybe my week. Okay, this Mike McMahon tweet that I emailed you. It's about Jerry O'Connell. It's a TMZ article, which I don't think we've ever covered on this show.
First.
TMZ.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, but I'm not seeing this email, Anne-Marie. You're just going to have to.
Wait, really? Yeah. I'll send it to them.
Oh.
Well, you have to see that. It's a tweet from.
It's
Mike
okay.
McMahon.
I've got it here.
Okay.
This is what happens when there's a ton of news happening all at the same time. We get lost. But Mike McMahon tweets out, "Savior of food trucks, Mr. Jerry O'Connell," and this is apparently a TMZ. Oh, how cute! Jerry O'Connell comes to rescue as food truck bursts into flames. What?
Okay, this is literally the most amazing article. I'm obsessed with him.
Can you tell us what it was about?
Can't you click on it? Because you got to see the pictures.
Okay. Okay.
There's like amazing on the ground reporting for this.
So here he is looking at us, Mr. Jerry O'Connell. There he is with I don't know what a baseball bat fighting fires. Wow, that's pretty cool. Okay, so basically he was driving with his twin girls in the back seat or whatever, and he sees like this food cart up in flames. So he pulled over and got out, and like one of the canisters of gas had already gone up in flames, and he ran over and pulled the other one away so that wouldn't go up in flames. And then he started fighting the fire before like the fire department came.
Oh my God.
That's our Commander Ransom. That's our number one.
I know. It's amazing.
What a hero.
Yeah.
That's pretty rad.
Anne-Marie, you may want to know that Aaron Walke says that the UK ghost is the superior one.
You know what? I can never make up my mind. It just depends like which one I'm watching. They're both so good. And I totally cry at the end of a lot of the episodes of both because it's such a beautiful show. And you're like, oh, I'm so happy I'm alive still.
John, have you seen Ghosts?
I have not seen Ghosts.
Me neither.
You have, Ryan. I made you watch the first episode with Muhammad. And then
we watched the first episode on the Watch the First podcast every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern on the Falling Tower YouTube channel that has 1 million subscribers and change. So be like 1,020,000 or whatever. Yeah, but I don't remember it being. No, it was good. It was very sweet. It was very charming. Yeah, it was surprisingly good, actually. Yeah, that's true. Tiffany says, OMG, Ryan, how have you not seen the original Ghost? It's amazing. It's why I'm mad the US got canceled. Wow, that much. Okay, so real quick, let's get into some important Strange New Worlds news. So let's not forget, we're in the middle of a season on an amazing hit show.
Yeah, a great season.
Yes. Trekmovie.com says Star Trek Strange New Worlds warps into streaming top 10 chart.
Oh, that's amazing news that nobody's been talking about.
Yes.
Well, now that's
and
something.
The strike started immediately. Yeah. This is major.
Following in the footsteps of Star Trek Picard, the new season of Strange New Worlds is proving popular for Paramount Plus, arriving on the Nielsen top 10. Strange new hit, it says. Today, Nielsen revealed their top 10 streaming charts for the week of June 12th through 18th, which includes the Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 2 premiere, The Broken Circle. Strange New Worlds debuts on the chart for original streaming shows at number 7 with 338 million minutes viewed.
Awesome.
Nielsen's metric for streaming. That's important minutes. That's an important distinction. Wow, Netflix. What the heck, Netflix?
I know, that's crazy.
Netflix has 8 of the top 10. The only 2 that are not Netflix are Apple TV's Ted Lasso and your Paramount Plus's Star Trek Strange New Worlds.
But maybe like the last few, maybe that was a few weeks where not much was coming out that was new. To be
True.
You know.
And everybody is watching that Black Mirror episode.
Yeah.
I haven't yet.
I actually
haven't, but
either,
I think I heard about it from John.
yeah. Except for me. Yeah.
It's not out in Canada.
It is. It is. I haven't watched it yet. I'm busy.
So here's another little bit on Star Trek Strange New Worlds, another article here. Interview Jess Bush on Chapel's turning point and crazy rest of Star Trek Strange New Worlds season 2. Doctor, you sent this in. Can you give us a couple little snippets
so
of
if you
this?
just go down for a while, so basically these people who were doing these last minute interviews before the strike happened, they like at the end of that, well, first of all, they talk about Roger Corby, and there's a lot of like cat and mouse about, I don't know when he'll show up. That's her TOS fiance. But basically at the end of these interviews, they ask about like, do you have anything to add about the rest of the season? And so if you just scroll down some more. Like a lot more. It's nothing major.
Wow,
She's
it's a
just saying,
long,
like
well, I can't
that
go that
crossover
far yet.
episode, she has some scenes with Boimler, which are really fun. And then
cool.
Okay,
it was
here,
just like
it's
a
probably
really
right here. It says, do you have much of a chance at work with Tawny Newsome and Jack Quaid while they were on set for Lower Decks crossover in episode 7? She says, yeah, a little. That was so fun. That's so fun. I didn't actually get to go work directly with Tawny in particular, but I worked with Jack. So we know a little something's going on there. We know Boimler and Chapel share some scenes, or at least a scene. She continues, and just having them both in the table read before the episode was such a joy because the tone of Lower Decks is so different. It's so much faster and funnier. Having their energy injected into the cast was so cool. It was a real blast. John, you've surely interviewed Jess in the past, right?
I have.
Have you learned anything from her about season 2 or any of the ins and outs of this season?
Nothing that hasn't really been revealed. When I interviewed her, we specifically talked about the episode, last week's episode with Chapel and Spock. And I don't remember what else we talked about. Actually, I asked her something about non-Star Trek entirely, because I asked her about when she visited NASA a few months ago.
Cool.
Yeah, which I just super interested in because I follow her on Instagram, and I was just like, that is so cool. So and she really wanted to talk about that. So
that's awesome.
that was fun. But but I didn't grill her about the crossover or episode 9. Like I have been asking other people about episode 9. I asked Christina Chong and Melissa Navia about episode 9. But I think I gave Jess a break.
I've been checking all of her interviews for when you ask people about episode 9. We covered those
Actually, John, do you need to run off? I know you might need to leave a little early. Do you need to hop out?
No, we're fine. I mean, the show's going to be over in about 12 minutes, so we'll stick around for the end.
Awesome. So our buddy Aaron Waltke here sent in a nice, important piece of information. This is the SAG infographic on all the media that doesn't fall under the currently expired AMPTP TV film and streaming contract. So that's this. I've seen this being kicked around, but it's also important to get in. This includes the following, and it's just got this whole big bunch of goodies. So everybody check that out. You can definitely find that at SAG-AFTRA-strike.org, which is a great resource. I'm sure they're going to keep adding to it because we all keep checking periodically to see what's been added or changed. So definitely go there, SAG-AFTRAstrike.org. Next, a little bit more Strange New Worlds. Or actually, you know what? Just to take a break from that, what's going on here? Here's the thing. John, Jenny, have you seen Babylon 5, the series, original series?
We haven't.
No.
Me neither.
This is a Star Trek.
I need to watch it. Yeah.
However, J. Michael Straczynski tweets, attention Babylon 5 fans. You wanted it, you asked for it, and it's finally happened. To celebrate Babylon 5's 30th anniversary, the complete Babylon 5 series will be released on Blu-ray December 5th, 2023. Pre-orders can be placed starting today via the retailer of your choice. Great. I want to get it at Ross.
Oh, that's great.
Huzzah, he says. So that's really
with
cool.
like some upgrades, I guess, too. And then also they're screening that animated movie at San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh, cool.
Really?
Yes. I think
That's
there's two
awesome.
different times you can go watch it there.
The full movie?
Yeah. That
So
just
it's
got announced like
premiering.
a couple days ago. Well, it's a sneak. I mean, I think the actual date is like, is it in August? But yeah, they're doing two like advanced screenings there. Pretty cool.
That's great.
Wow. So a little bit more news about Star Trek Picard now, because a lot of news is getting lost in the shuffle from all the strikes and all that. But check this out here. Star Trek Picard was nominated for 2 Emmys. Some of you
was
may
that just
know
last
that.
week?
I know,
That was
that's the
just
thing. That was Wednesday.
Yeah, it wasn't even a
This
week
was last
ago.
year.
Like this weekend feels like a week every day.
It does.
Like, it's crazy. All those
Oh,
stuff.
wow.
So just a quick rundown. There are 2 makeup nominations for Picard for Outstanding Contemporary Makeup. The following members of the Picard team were nominated. So, well, here are the names. I have to go through all the names, but basically the makeup team, pretty awesome. In the end, Picard picked up 2 nominations in total, down from 5 nominations for season 1 and 4 nominations for season 2. That's interesting. They actually got less nominations than the
Don't even
previous 2
start with
seemed.
me.
Oh, man.
I'm
What?
very disappointed.
I think you and I, Anne-Marie, were both just like,
I was like, I know you and I were on, I was like, am I the only one watching?
No,
the
no, like,
seconds
I
tick
was-
down for these to get announced. And you're like, I am too. And
Yeah.
we're like refreshing and refreshing and refreshing. And then like, they made us like watch the freaking video instead of like just announcing them like all at once.
yeah.
Especially
Isn't that
it's
the
just,
real
like,
story,
such a
though?
slap to the face. Yeah, that is
The real story is that it's only 2 nominations.
Yeah.
right?
And especially because the variety predictions that had like
Right?
Picard for drama and Patrick Stewart and Gates, and then the HCA nominations that came out like last Tuesday that had like Brent Spiner and Patrick Stewart and best drama, and like this is just nuts. And then that best drama category then included like Lord of the
Rings, Dance, Lord of the
Power or
Rings,
whatever. Yeah,
Rings
Lord
of Power.
Flies. Yeah,
Lord of the
I
Flies.
think it's Rings of Power, and then Star Wars won, and then it was so sad for Patrick Stewart to like to not get a nomination then again.
So we just
I
have
don't
a
see me
few-
upset very much, but I'm upset about this.
I know
Really
this.
hurt.
How did that only get 2 Emmy nominations? That's
It was like the day before his birthday or something. I hated that.
oh,
freaking-
that's ruthless.
The bridge rebuild. Like
So
Dave Glass
angry.
didn't get an Emmy nomination,
Yeah,
and
that
it
was
is
shocking.
oh
Well, didn't all the
Ugh.
nominations basically go to Succession and
Yes.
what was the other one? The 7-episode series?
White Lotus.
White Lotus.
White Lotus is
I know, that's your
freaking good.
jam.
I'm sorry.
I know,
I'm
it is
sorry,
really
but
good.
it is
Is it Ryan? Is
Unbelievable.
it good?
I shouldn't say anything. I shouldn't say anything. You're right. I should not be beaming over it about like, you guys should check out White Lotus, man.
Yeah.
It's the best. They should
Too
all
soon,
get that.
Ryan.
Yeah.
You're right.
Too soon.
Exactly.
I'm
And
going to
that
stay quiet.
That theme song, right, John? That theme song is freaking
Oh, I love when
addictive.
you
It's
sing it.
delicious.
And so
Um,
Succession's theme song, but
Oh man, Succession's theme song is nuts. However, check out this article by ScreenRant.com writer John Orchiola entitled Discoveries Burnham Helped Define Spock in Strange New Worlds, says actor Ethan Peck.
When did he
Your
say
thoughts,
that?
John?
What's up?
Your thoughts, John?
My thoughts. First of all, I loved that episode of The Seventh Rule. I was super excited when I
Filmed
found out.
before the strike, by the way. That was an important distinction.
And so I was super excited when Ethan was announced as the guest, because it was the first time Ethan and Sirach, I think, shared the screen together and got to talk about Star Trek, which the first ever Cisco and Spock mind meld. That's already historic. And then Ethan dropped some really, really cool, interesting tidbits about how he sees Spock. And one of them was in that article, which is about Michael Burnham and how Michael still affects how Spock regards his humanity. It was a really, really great quote. Actually, there was a whole series of great quotes, and I think I wrote up a second article based off of something else, or I'm going to. But
I'll read the quote very quickly. He says, at this point in his life, Spock is really learning how to be human. I think the journey he was really set off on was inspired by Michael Burnham in Discovery. She really tells him, quote, this is an important part of you and essential to who you are and the way you solve problems, end quote, which is what Spock is. He's a great problem solver.
So it's really great that Ethan remembers how impactful Michael was. And, Ethan does come from season 2 of Discovery, which everybody kind of forgets that, that Pike, number 1 and Spock actually began on the other show and then got this amazing spinoff. But yeah, Ethan has never forgotten. So, and I love that he's in his performance and how he thinks about Spock. He's keeping that relationship with Michael alive in a way.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is cool. There's gonna be a lot more Discovery news in the coming months and years as we gear up for the final season. And I do feel like it's going to be one of those things where our fondness for Discovery is going to start to grow as season 5 draws near. And as we're going through season 5, it's going to be kind of like hearing the cancellation was kind of shocking. But I think that it's going to be one of those things where it's going to start becoming more and more real as season 5 draws near and as we start watching it. And we're going to start kind of going like, I'm really going to miss this shit, man. I like this show. I like these characters. We remember when Michael Burnham was, a traitor back in episode 1 and how far she's come, and Saru. And so it's really cool that Ethan Peck is still kind of reminding us of his roots and the character's roots in Strange New Worlds. It's just kind of a nice thing that we need to remember, because we're kind of going through a little spell without any Discovery for a while. So it's good to remember. That's the show that started it all. Great stuff. Thank you, John Orchiola. Oh wow, we're already.
We don't have to cover like the previews for Lost in Translation, because
just very quickly, one final thing, 10 seconds on it. Speaking of nominations, 3 Star Trek novels nominated for Scribe Awards by TrekMovie.com.
Nice.
This article, 3 novels honored. The International Association of Media Tie-in Writers announced nominees for their annual Scribe Awards. In Best Original Novel Speculative category, both Star Trek Strange New Worlds High Country and Star Trek Original Series Harm's Way by David Mack, our good friend. And the previous one was John Jackson Miller. The other nominees, never heard of them. And where's the third one?
So the third one,
Star Trek
nice
Prodigy. There it is, written by it's Star Trek Prodigy, A Dangerous Trade, written by Cassandra Rose Clark, was nominated for Best Young Adult Middle Grade Novel. It's going up against a bunch of people that are going to get second place. So congratulations to that. Look at this great art.
Awesome.
And just like along those lines too, if you follow Mission Log Prodigy, like the Mission Log Prodigy podcast, that's our friends Norm Lau and Shar Schmidt, who's on our Star Trek and Chill show, they had a couple episodes where they read the young adult books that go along with Prodigy and then sort of like reviewed them without spoilers. So make sure to check those out. It's a really good way to like know what's going on in the Prodigy merch department and like help support that and buy the books for like any young adults in your life.
Okay, so before we go, let's talk about this week very quickly. Hey, John, do you have any trivia for us?
No.
Me neither.
Was I supposed to have some?
No, I just thought of that. We usually have trivia.
I totally
here.
forgot.
Yeah, me too. So, hey, it's free, whatever, guys. They're gonna be like, I want my money back. I didn't get my trivia. Muhammad is actually traveling. Everybody,
Yeah,
Dr.
where is
Muhammad
right now?
traveling to LA. He's actually going to go to Universal, or he is at Universal Studios right now with Melissa Longo. They should send pictures. Did they? No, they don't care.
Muhammad,
anyway,
our good friend Muhammad is going to be on our friends over at Shuttlepod shows.
Are we allowed to announce this though? I don't know. Has it already been?
They talked about it. Yeah.
I started to panic there. Yes, that's why he's here. He's going to be with a Shuttlepod show. They had a really fun and cool live show on Sunday talking about an original series episode that everybody knows and loves. I think it was called The Giant Space Cornucopia or something like that.
That's what it was called.
Yeah.
Anyway, so check that out, as well as all day on Sunday, we had the Star Trek Las Vegas pre-con con. Everything is still viewable, all 17 episodes, 17 videos from Sunday. Just go to virtualtrekcon.com and just click on the pre-con con. The entire schedule is there. You can click on that, including Lolita Fajo clearing up a lot of information or misinformation about what's going to happen with the actors at Star Trek Las Vegas. So definitely go check out that interview because we're trying to get more information for you. And she's quite a good source for information since they're calling her to tell her.
Yeah.
Okay, so very quickly then that's virtualtrekcon.com. Then on Monday, yesterday, on the Seventh Rule YouTube channel, we reviewed the full review of The Neutral Zone, which was the final episode of season 1. We had director James L. Conway, who's directed, I think, 14 episodes of Star Trek. That full review is out right now on the Seventh Rule YouTube channel. Now, tomorrow on the Falling Tower YouTube channel, did we mention they got 1 million subscribers? We do. We review, oh boy, a show called, this is Cartoons and Comedy Month, a show called We Bare Bears. Or if anybody's heard of that, We Bare Bears on Hulu. Jurassic Jen calls them the Wee Wee Bears, so that kind of stuck. Our guests are meteorologist Katie Nicolau and our good friend Darth Shuey. So check that out if you are just dying to know what Muhammad Noor, myself, Katie, and Darth thought about the Wee Wee Bears. Then on Thursday, we've got on the Seventh Rule, the review for, thank you for that smirk. I take it. We've got our review of Strange New Worlds Season 2, Episode 6. That's at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern Time on the Seventh Rule YouTube channel. Then come right back here on Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 p.m. Jenny R. Johnson's time in Nova Scotia. We are doing Star Trek and Chill live. We're going to do Star Trek and a lot of chill, probably. We're going to hang out. We're going to talk. It's going to be a lot of fun. And it's going to be live just like this on Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Then lastly, on Sunday, on the Seventh Rule YouTube channel, let me find that. We've got our first segment review of Next Generation Season 2, Episode 4, The Outrageous Okana.
Nice.
You may know him from a Prodigy episode, 2 Prodigy episodes, if I remember correctly. That guy. And a Lower Decks episode, which is the most interesting thing to see a character in Next Generation and Prodigy and Lower Decks.
That's awesome.
Right? You're looking at me? He was in Lower Decks, right?
I don't know.
He was in Lower Decks.
He was mentioned, yeah.
No,
he
he
actually
showed
like in it. Oh, he was like in it.
And they showed his face.
Yeah.
And he had an eye patch, and everybody was like, wait a minute, how come he has an eye patch?
Right.
But then later on, he was in Prodigy with that eye patch. And I'm like, these guys are playing 3D chess on us. they're talking behind the scenes and they're like, hey, we're going to use your kind of, okay, we got him with an eye patch. Make sure you have an eye patch. Okay, go, we'll put it on. Which eye is it? It's the right eye. Okay, we'll do that. Go, thanks. That's so cool.
I interviewed him last year about his Prodigy episode. That's somewhere on Screen Rant too.
Really?
He's a great guy. He was living on a farm.
Billy Campbell, right?
Yeah, Billy Campbell.
Wow, that's amazing. All right, everybody, that's it. Look, John, can you tell everybody where they can find you and your amazing writing skills?
Oh, well, I'm at Back of the Head on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads. And my stuff is on screenrant.com. And actually, if I can just plug one thing, on Thursday, I have an interview, which was conducted before the SAG-AFTRA strike, with Paul Wesley, who plays Lieutenant James T. Kirk on Strange New Worlds.
Oh.
We had a really, really fun chat. And my favorite thing in this interview, which is not in the interview, which I had to cut out for editing, was he was, every time he tried to describe Kirk and call him prime timeline Kirk, he kept saying prime time Kirk, which is now how I think of him. He's prime time Kirk.
Oh, I love it.
So this is the first episode where he's caught like the correct timeline Kirk, right?
Second. Remember, he appears at the very end of episode 3 on the pad when La'an calls him.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
right.
cool.
Yeah. But this is the first time he is actually Lieutenant Kirk coming down to the Enterprise and being part of the action.
Awesome.
I knew you were the right person to ask that question. I needed it clarified.
Prime time Kirk, baby.
Prime time Kirk.
Jenny R. Johnson, where can people find you online? And what is this awesome jennyrjohnson.com website? Are these pictures or are they actual brilliant paintings?
Are these pictures you stole?
Paintings. No, these are paintings I painted. Oh my gosh. No, I painted these. And in fact, I have just started working on the updated Picard version of that particular poker game, which I'm somehow going to get finished before STLV. Somehow.
Wow.
Jenny, I believe the stars will be in your favor.
I appreciate. Oh, thank you.
I'm like obsessed with that Golden Girls one.
Thank you.
Anybody want a peanut?
3 of the best faces in the world.
So where can we find you online on the social media?
Well, on social media, on Twitter, you can find me at Jenny R. Johnson, just Jenny R. Johnson. Everywhere else, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, TikTok even, I'm Jenny R. Johnson Art.
Awesome. All right. Oh God, you have the most iconic moments in your paintings. It's brilliant.
Just wait.
What about you, Doctor? Where can we find you online?
Twitter at Anne-Marie Siegel1 and at Star Trek Las Vegas.
And on virtual Trek on live shows like this one.
Except not Friday, because I'm going to happy hour with Marina Krupchuk.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's right.
Amazing.
Star Trek celebrity.
We're going to have the best guests on when you're gone. It's going to be, we're going to get so drunk.
Well, I'm going to be at happy hour with one of the best guests. So
that's true. You're going to have more fun than us, probably. Look, everybody, you can find me on Twitter at Ryan TG Husk. That's at Ryan TG Husk, or just virtual Trekon. Sorry, I should say at virtual Trekon, at Falling Tower, or at the 7th Rule on your favorite social media, whatever that happens to be, unless we're not there. All right. That's it there. You know who you are, social media accounts or platforms that we don't like. We're not on you. Anyway, we'll see you next time. Thanks everybody for joining us. And that includes War Dog Heim, Kevin McCree, Chuck A. We see all of you. JR Poole, what's up? Dave Gregory, Travis Taylor, Allison Leach Hyde, Robert Kaiser, A. All. We see you. Thank you for joining. We will see you next time. And until then, wait, no, that's the other one. If you want to know all the news that's most likely correct because we're just reading it straight from the source, put it on the main viewer. Yeah, you know.